I want to return now to some news out of federal politics, and 1,000 labourers will arrive in Australia from Vietnam this year to work on regional farms and help alleviate pressure on the ag sector. It comes 2 years after a memo was established between Australia and Vietnam. Joining me live now from Mildura is Nationals MP Anne Webster. I know that you argued for this ag visa when the coalition was in government, but do you give Labor credit for following through with this agreement with Vietnam?
Well, good morning, Kieran. It's great to be with you. Of course, we give credit where it's due. We want to see these workers come to Australia in this year, as Labor have said. Of course, as you say, the Memorandum of Understanding was actually signed just before the last election in March 2022, and we've had a dragging of the chain from Labor all the way through. I will welcome these Vietnamese workers. We are desperate for workforce out in the ag and hort sectors, including abattoirs, forestries and fisheries. So I will very much be happy when these people enter Australia.
Well, Labor hasn't continued with the visa as you designed it. They've got the really focusing on the PALM, the Pacific Labour Mobility Program, getting Pacific workers in to the country. They want to keep that focus on our doorstep on the Pacific. Doesn't that make more sense than the broader approach that the coalition was planning?
Well, I think there's room for both. The coalition also welcomed our PALM relationship. Of course, that is also aid as well as workforce training and adding to the wealth of our Pacific neighbours, and we endorse that and support that. But, you know, I was thinking earlier, it's horses for courses, and Vietnamese workers bring a different kind of workforce. There are some horticultural industries, for example, that are very fine motor skilled required, and we know from those who sponsor workers into the country, so the approved employers under our model, were very, very happy with the Asian workers. So it's different workforce for different purposes, and I think we need to be flexible in that way. The other thing that we had, and I'm yet to see whether Labor are endorsing this, is that there was flexibility to move workers from one seasonal workplace, such as Mildura, to another seasonal workplace, such as New South Wales on the East Coast, because they can have year-round work, whereas we know that, you know, vines need work in the winter to prune and to tend them ready for summer, and then the harvesting process, of course, in the summer. But there are definitely spaces in there for other workforce. So I'm just hoping that Labor have got their finger on the pulse here, and that DFAT will be supportive of the process and plans that we had in place.
On the Pacific workers, it looks like it has proven popular. The government's been arguing that since it's made various changes to the PALM program, the number of employers that have signed up to be a part of it has gone up, and the number of arrivals of workers has also gone up. Is that your experience?
Well, a little of both. The PALM scheme can only bring in 40,000 workers. We know at the end of COVID that we were 150, 170,000. It was a massive number of workers short in agriculture across Australia. That has certainly not been filled since that time. So hence the desperation for more workforce to come in. I think the other thing I would point out as a local, in a local environment, is that there are issues with the PALM scheme, which I have certainly raised with Murray Watt and with the ministers concerned, to ensure the kind of pastoral care, the oversight that is necessary for these workers. They find themselves in hot water, and our small towns can also find themselves with a battle on their hands for cultural differences, for particular behaviours that tend to bring disruption, shall I say, to very small towns. We've got to remember where they're going. So there needs to be more support, and I strongly advocate that the government needs to pay attention to that and to address the issues better than they have.
Federal Member for Mallee, Anne Webster, appreciate your time.
Thank you.